Yates Live, YouTube vertical. Sunshine today after raining out yesterday here at the tennis club. 3 matches yesterday canceled, but it was okay. I got to practice some life techniques that you can use yourself today maybe. And that is asking this question, no matter what happens, ask the question, what's next? And that's what I did yesterday, and it works great. Instead of saying, why is it raining? Why is it raining us out today? I had it on my schedule to play tennis. I have no control over the rain. I have no control that we got rained out. But I did have control over what I was going to do next. That's the empowering question you want to ask. What's next? And so that's what I did. And even though I had things on my schedule, I just rearranged it. Okay, what's next? I can work out. I planned on working out in the afternoon. Now that I'm rained out this morning, I will do my leg workout in the morning, and I'll be free for tennis in the afternoon. Then tennis was rained out again in the afternoon, but that was okay because I asked myself again, what's next? And what's next was I could do a podcast, which I did. And so today I'm going to be putting out another podcast, and it's going to be on NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Let me know in the comments if you have practiced it, if you've learned it. Maybe you're a practitioner, maybe you're a general practitioner or a master practitioner of NLP, which is Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is just a set of principles, values. It's a way of thinking. And as Richard Bandler, one of the founders, said, it's a manual for your brain. Our brain does not think. We think with our brain. We think with our brain. Our brain doesn't think for us. When you tell your subconscious, subjective mind something, it does not argue with you. It takes the command as you put it to it. And it definitely tries to answer your questions, and it does not argue with you. If you ask your mind, why am I so stupid? It will not say, wait a minute, you're not stupid, you're great. Look what you have going for you. You're very smart. No, it will look for answers to the question. Well, why you're so stupid? Maybe this reason, maybe that, maybe this. Not true, but it will not argue with you. So what do you have to do? Ask better questions. What's good about this? What can I learn from this? What's next? Powerful questions is the key. That is a great way to start changing your thinking. Thinking is the key to changing your life if you want to be in transformation. By the way, you're always in transformation. We are always vibrating. We are always moving. We're either growing or we're dying. So you choose which one. I choose to be growing. And to do that, we've got to consciously think. We got to think the thoughts that we want to think, because we know that thoughts are going to create feelings. Feelings are going to convert to emotions, which are going to be the start of vibrations. That is what is going to magnetize us, and we're going to attract things and people on the same vibration, the same wavelength as us. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. You're in the right place. I know you want to get to the next level. So do I. Come with me. We have a community of progress here on the channel. Vibrations is really the key. Because of the movie The Secret, the documentary, Bob Proctor sometimes talks about the fact that because that went viral, everybody talks about the law of attraction. But before the law of attraction is the law of vibration. That's what makes us attract certain things and certain people. You know how it is. If you're on a positive vibration, you're a positive person in a positive wavelength, and you get around someone negative, someone in a bad vibration, you are not comfortable around them. You want to get away from them. They are repelling you. And that's because they're on a different vibration than you are. And so we've got to kind of limit our contact with those people, because their vibration, their wavelength, it can't affect us. We tend to mirror and match other people with the vibration that we have, with the vibration and the frequency that they're on. So stay on a positive frequency, a positive vibration as much as possible. And we can't always control that, but we can do our best. Bad thoughts are going to come into our mind. They're like little birds, right? Sometimes they fly in to our brain. but we have the power not to let them make a nest. We can destroy them, get them out of there. And what are these bad thoughts? Usually they're images of the past. Freedom is the key, everybody. Freedom is the key. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, how can we be free? Sometimes we let our past either make us think how free we are to make choices today and be excited about life, or we can use our past to keep reliving something bad that happened. Nothing bad is happening right now, and so we're reliving something bad that happened yesterday or in the past. Why are we doing that? We do not have to do that. We have a choice to make. We can go forward. This is day one. That's a great way to do it. Hey, this is day one of the rest of my life. The past does not equal the future, one of the key presuppositions of NLP. I think you're going to like this podcast episode today on NLP. I'm going to talk about the founders, Richard Bandler and John Grinder. They're still teaching it today. And the first book on NLP was back in the 70s, 1975. And it's all about an operating manual for our brains. And Richard Bandler and John Grinder got together to create this meta model of how we can optimize our life. And they were studying these psychotherapists. Matter of fact, Richard Bandler, he got in contact with Virginia Satir, and he went around with her to mental hospitals and saw that how she got the results she got from treating patients. He went around with her so often, people started thinking that he was a psychotherapist, and they would accept him as being part of the doctor's crew. And he had great fun with that, and he learned about optimizing our. Hey, sometimes if we want to, we can feel good for no reason. We don't need a reason to feel great. Don't wait for a reason to feel great. And then when something comes along that's a good reason, it's even better. It's heightened. You're going to feel even greater because guess what? Your set point is already great. Can't be there 24/7. Can't be there always. But that can be the dominating state that we're always in. We can always be in a positive, dominating state most of the time. Life happens. Things happen to us. And it's important that we feel the full range of our emotions. You'll notice that some people, they get down and depressed, and they might have good reason. Instead of going through it, they cover it up with drugs and or alcohol, right? They get on antidepressants and they never get off them because the psychiatric industry makes their money by keeping people on them. They don't de-prescribe them. There may be some people that need them. They're in severe, major depression disorder. However, most people are not. I heard recently a psychiatrist said 70% of people who are on antidepressants don't need to be. There would be other ways to get through what they're getting through. Now, I've gone through a recent winter in my life, and I went through it. What do they say? If you're going through hell, keep on going. Get through it. Hey, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hi, good morning. I'm glad you're checking in. I'm just leaving the tennis court today feeling still very motivated, energetic, with a lot of vigor. I'm 68 years old, but because I have been weight training and exercising for the past 50 years, I have habituated eating nutrient-dense foods, getting plenty of sunlight, getting plenty of sleep, lifting heavy things, sprinting once every 7 to 10 days. Playing is something like tennis that's also good for the mind. Another thing that NLP models is that the mind and the body are one unit. They are one colony of cells. They are one community. Because let's face it, one thing affects another thing. The mind affects the body, and it works both ways. The body affects the mind. If you want to change how you're feeling, there's a strategy. Change your physiology, how you're moving your body. Change your focus and change what you're saying to yourself, and you will change your state. And you can do that anytime that you want. Reverse engineer when you feel great. If I was to tell you, tell me how you would feel depressed, what would your body do? You would say, I would slump my shoulders, I would put my head down, I might lower my voice. I might be monotone like this. So then how would you fix that? How would you change that state? Shoulders back, a more energetic voice, head up, change your focus, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Take control of your emotions. Take control of your feelings. Let's start thinking on purpose. Thinking is the key, and so few people do it. So few people think on purpose. They bounce around, they float through life as if they have 100 years to live. Well, they don't. Now, if you're going to set yourself apart, you're going to live greatly, like I'm doing. I'm 68 and I'm living greatly, but constantly going, trying new things. As Bob Proctor would say, and he passed a few years ago, but he was really he was in the movie The Secret, Bob Proctor. And he was always growing. And he said, you got to change your paradigm, which is the way we think, the way we process information. And when we do change the way we think, because we've been programmed, our subconscious, our subjective mind is going to fight us because it always tries to keep us alive, keep us comfortable. It is in survivor mode. And so when we're always stepping out of our comfort zone, trying to learn new things and always be growing, the subconscious says, hey, wait a minute, hold on. What are you doing? You are safe right here in the cave. Why are you venturing out? Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. There's no dinosaurs anymore. We can venture out. And so we should be self-aware of our surroundings, of course. Stay safe. Don't do stupid things. Don't do stupid things that might get you hurt or killed. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Maybe don't video and drive. But I'm doing it. I am a little bit rogue. I'm a little bit crazy, but in a measured way. All right, thanks for checking in, everybody. Hey, I love it. I love it. I love all the comments. A lot of positive comments later. And hey, this is why I like going live, because it's unedited. I leave the mistakes in. And like all of us now, if we're smart, we crave authenticity. What is real? What is BS? We get sick of just constant AI-generated content that we don't know is real. We want real shit. That's why going forward today, really the commodity is the people that are vying for attention can get more attention by using the live broadcast, going live. If you're selling a product and a service and you're using social media, if you're not good at going live and speaking from the heart, you better learn it, because that's going to be the commodity going forward if you want to excel in selling your product and or service, because people want real. They want raw and real. And too many things AI generated. Now, some AI generated stuff, we know it's AI generated and it's very entertaining. It's very funny. And, some of it I like. And AI, artificial intelligence, can be a tool that we can use in our business. AI is not going to destroy your business. Someone using AI will, because it saves time. You can use it to save time and create more hours in your week. And what can you do with those hours? Maybe spend more time with family and friends. Focus more on developing greater relationships, probably with the relationships you already have. That Harvard study, I did a podcast on that, and that was very popular because it's still going on 85 years. And that Harvard study is still going on happiness, the study on happiness. And they started in the 1960s. They took a group from Harvard who were very well off. And gradually, they added another group that were not so well off. And so they kept following both groups, all of their siblings, their parents, their sons and daughters, brothers and sisters. And they interviewed them. And as technology advanced, they did blood test work with them. They did MRIs with them. They showed them pictures, and they checked how their brain was wired. And at the end of their lives, generation after generation, they discovered true happiness was based on the quality of their relationships. The quality of their life was a direct relation to their relationships. Not necessarily quantity, but the quality. If you have 2 or 3 deep-seated relationships, that was enough to be satisfied and fulfilled at the end of your life. In the beginning, money does play a part. When you get to a certain level of money, it plays a smaller part. But once we have our needs met, right, our housing, food, shelter, transportation, a little extra money, then beyond that, no matter how many more millions you might make, it has little effect on your happiness. Initially, it does play a role. But in the end, more money doesn't move the needle that much. Now, 85 plus years, this study's been going on. Why don't we learn from it? It's one of those things. Not everybody wants to advance. Nobody wants to transform into a greater life. Sometimes people get addicted to mediocrity. They get addicted to, because their life is okay right now. It's okay. You ever talk to somebody? Hey, how you doing? All right. You're not doing great. You're not doing fantastic. Maybe it's time to change something up, because I'm doing fantastic. I'm loving my life, and I get up in the morning and I ask powerful questions. What am I grateful for in my life? What am I looking forward to in my life? That's kind of the secret to getting excited about life. Create an image in your future that you can work towards, and you can reverse engineer backwards. And as you move towards that picture in the future, the excitement starts to ramp up. So you want to dial in the excitement at the end. Begin with the end in mind to where you want to go. Do not ramp up the excitement in the beginning, because that's going to fade real quick. If your excitement is, I can't wait, I've set a goal, I'm going to start my book. I can't wait to start my book, this is what I'm going to do. You know, if that's your goal, the excitement's on the front end. As soon as you start your book, that's going to be the most exciting you're going to get in the process. And that's going to wane really quickly. So the thing to get excited about is finishing my book. I can't wait to finish my book. Now, every step in that direction ramps up the excitement until you get to the finishing of your book. Each chapter becomes a stepping stone to that future image that you created. And creation is the key, everybody. Create an image in your future. The images we create in our head, we need to consciously create those. When we have a bad memory picture that comes in that causes us to have a bad feeling, we need to get rid of that picture. And before we do, we need to change that picture. Every time that memory comes in that gives you a bad feeling, change it, shrink it down, postage size, stamp size, visual. Make it black and white, make it very hard to hear it. And every time that happens, shrink it down. And then swish it out of your head and replace it with a better picture. It's called the swish pattern. Every time that memory comes in, shrink, postage size, visual. Swish it out, replace it. Eventually, you will have conditioned and reprogrammed that memory to the new picture. And all of a sudden, you're going to have a new feeling with that memory. So you have the power to create feelings in your life by changing your thinking. Thinking is the key. So few people do it, but you can start today. The blinking of an eye, you can change the way you think. And once you do that, you can start to condition yourself. Obviously, we've been programmed by our environment, right? When you're born, you start to become programmed by environment, the people around you, the looks on their faces, the things that they're saying, the sounds that you hear, and what you're seeing. You're programmed. And after 7 years of 24/7 being programmed, you're pretty much programmed and set. The great power is you can reprogram yourself and reset your thinking. And that's something we can do at any age. I'm 68 and I'm constantly changing my thinking, changing what I'm focusing on, changing by asking questions like, what is next? And you have the same power. This is the kind of shit that I like to talk about. Not everybody does, and that's okay. They're not my people, and maybe they're not your people. And so regardless, if you want to set yourself apart, we can live like nobody else if we start living like nobody else. I can't get addicted to mediocrity. I just can't do it. I get around people and I like their energy. I like their vim and their vigor. And I think they're the same age as me. And it turns out they're 45, 46 years old. Because I think I'm their age. I'm 68, folks, and living with passion. We never know how long we got, but why not live until the end? You don't have to have a steep decline as we get older. Some people do. You see it because they don't exercise, they don't eat nutrient-dense foods, they don't get excited about life and what's happening, and so they start to age. And you don't have to. But I'm going to take a minute just to acknowledge you, because I know it's all positive comments. Hey, it's not easy to do. That's correct. Not easy to do and say. Yeah, that's a key point. Hey, you know what? Being negative is easy. We kind of default to the negative because that's how we learned to stay alive thousands of years ago. But let me tell you something, just as easy to think positively. It takes the same amount of energy, really, to start a business, to be successful, to make millions of dollars and become the kind of person that attracts those kinds of people and monies. It's very easy to do. The problem is it's easy not to do. And so we have to consciously decide on the thoughts and the actions that we're going to take. And I don't care where you are today. You can start right from where you're at. All you got to do is put an image in your future and start working in that direction. And you know what? Make it something that's crazy. Make it a moonshot. Make it that's something that's going to drive you and pull you. Don't think small. Think crazy big. When I look back on some of the things that I achieved and some of the great things that happened to me, my only regret is, holy shit, I should have thought bigger. Wow, that happened? That was good. I should have thought bigger. I could have done more. I could have got out of my comfort zone. Hey, I found myself many times getting in that pocket of comfort, doing pretty great, doing pretty good, but I could have done more. I could have done better. And that tastes like shit. And I use that going forward from today. I remember that. I remember, I don't want to taste that shit anymore. I want to excel. I want to keep going after big goals and aspirations. I don't want to get in that rocking chair and start to go downhill. Not going to happen. I will not go quietly into that good night. All right, everybody, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Join a community of progress. I'm going to tell you right now, my people, not an easy crowd. I don't want to be around an easy crowd. You know what? It's a paradox. The hard things are going to make your life easier. Choose hard. Choose the hard things to do. Choosing easy makes your life harder, right? Choose hard, but on purpose. You want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and get into the gym? That's hard to do. That causes a lot of stress and pain. But guess what? It's you stress and it's you pain. I'd rather have the stress that I choose, that I've decided on, than having the world put their stress and distress on me. Let me choose hard. So choose the hard things to do. That's going to create more value in what you accomplish. I remember getting off training in South Central LA for the LA Sheriff's Department. That was tough. Man, that training was so damn hard. But boy, when I got off training, it meant a lot because it was hard. Getting through that was hard. It wasn't for everybody, and not everybody made it through. But you know what? That's a good thing. That's a good test. That doesn't make anybody bad that didn't make it, but it does add value to getting through it because it was hard. So pick hard shit. You know what? You design it. Design your damn life. You know, Richard Bandler talked about in his training, he talked about a guy in the concentration camps, and what he did was he created an image in his future. That's how he got through the concentration camps. He just pictured a haberdashery that he was going to start a clothing store. And down to the latest detail, every day he created that in his mind. He saw it in New York City. He saw the rack of clothes, down to how he had the floor laid out, down to the hangers that were hanging on the poles. Every day he created new details in his mind. And boy, he knew he was working towards that end image. And he got out of the concentration camps, and it took a long time, but he got himself to New York City, and he created that store. He created that haberdashery. He made his dream come true, just like you can. You can make your dreams come true. Don't stop dreaming. Don't stop creating images in your head. And if you haven't paid attention, we're going to create images in our head whether we want to or not. That's just how language is transferred, and it's our take and how we analyze things with pictures. We actually do picture things, and we picture things that we pay attention to. Just sit yourself in a room and focus on everything that is blue in the room. Scan the room and focus on everything blue. Now close your eyes and now think of everything red in the room. I can't think of a thing because I was focusing on the blue. Focus. Change what you're focusing on, and change what you're paying attention to. Here's the crazy thing about today. We are overloaded with information. It's no longer a case of information not being available to us. You know, back 50 years ago, not always, the information wasn't always available to us. Life was a lot simpler. We had no choice, right? We weren't overwhelmed with choices. And are you that old? Back in the 70s, when I was growing up, right, at midnight, there was only 3 channels that we could watch on the television. And at midnight, the TV would go off. We had no choice. I had to go to bed. I remember my parents said, you can stay up as long as you want. Well, I stayed up until the TV went off. And on the weekends, it would go off at 12 midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. And I used to hate when that Star Spangled Banner would come on, because that was the last thing they played before. That is the end of our programming day. Oh man, I just reminded myself of what they would say at the end before they went boot. That is the end of our programming day. Can you imagine now there is no end to our programming day? At 4 o'clock in the morning, we could have choice of 500 channels. You know what? Sometimes that might be too much. We're overwhelmed with the data coming in. And that's why people are overwhelming us, trying to get our attention. They're trying to do whatever they can to get our attention. That's the commodity nowadays. And so what we have to do on purpose, we have to pay attention to what we want to pay attention to. We got to choose how we pay attention. Maybe you got to do little things. When you go to the movies, make sure before you go in the movie, put the damn thing on airplane mode. If you want to get crazy, like I do, leave your phone in the car. Go into a movie. Leave your phone in the car. See, growing up in the 70s, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, we used to leave the house. No one could contact us until the end of day when we came back home before the streetlights came on. I had to be home before dark so we could have dinner. My parents couldn't contact me and I couldn't contact them. I was out and about, right? I was hiking around in the local fields. I was walking down to my buddy's house. We were riding bikes together. And so there was no way to stay in constant contact with each other. And isn't that a great thing? We can still create that today, but you know what? We get addicted. We get addicted because the dopamine hit we get from, looking, seeing what's going on, scrolling, doom scrolling. I've been doing that at night. It's been a bad habit. And so I started breaking that habit 2 nights ago. And I did one night of going without much sleep because I said, damn it, I'm getting up at 5 a.m. I didn't have enough sleep, but I knew that night I was going to have no insomnia because I was so damn tired. I created it on purpose. I forced myself, get up, and I got so much done that day. And sometimes don't get so much done. Cut your calendar down in half. Focus on being present with the things that you're going to do. Don't overwhelm your schedule with too many damn things. All right, everybody, I hope that serves you in some way. Married with Paranormal. Those days were better. Oh, man. Smash the like button. You can't be the only one. Married with Paranormal. Come on, everybody. Get crazy. Join a community of progress. I'll tell you, I'll never forget. I'll never forget in high school when they used to call me Crazy Cliff Yates. You know what? I'm bringing that back. I want to get back to being Crazy Cliff Yates because that was a great way to live. Don't live like nobody else, and you won't have to live like nobody else. I'm going to be putting some crazy goals in front of me. I'm going to do that today. And I'm going to be doing a podcast later on NLP, Neuro Linguistic Program. It really is an operation manual for your brain. Because our brain doesn't think. We think with our brain. We are in total damn control of it. It's exciting stuff, everybody. Hey, thanks everybody for checking in. I was listening to a good friend, not a good friend. He's one of my online friends. Ed Milet is a guy in this space of personal growth and self-improvement. And he was talking with Sage Steele. He used to be on ESPN. And he was saying, you know what? Sometimes I get tempted. You know, he's a Christian. He pays attention to politics and what's going on. And sometimes, like myself, I think I should express my opinion on things, right? And then he decided, you know what? There's enough people on YouTube, Rumble, and around. They've flooded the arena enough with politics and opinions. I don't have to share an opinion on that. I can stick with this space because that's what served me over the past 35, 40 years. When I started changing, my life started changing. And then I realized everything that was at fault was at my fault. It wasn't the economy. It wasn't my negative relatives. It wasn't anything but me. It wasn't my negative friends and relatives. It was me. And then I became empowered because, oh shit, if it's me, then I'm the solution. If I'm the problem, I'm the solution. And that's empowering. And so not giving your power away, one of the greatest ways to live. Can you imagine everybody that I contact today, especially when I go in this store, I'm going to be putting out a lot of joy and happiness. They're going to be seeing a smile like they wouldn't believe. And I'm going to address them with great energy. It might not come back to me, and that's okay. I'm not going to judge what I'm doing based on the results I'm getting from those people. You know why? Because you never know what somebody's going through. Somebody might be miserable in the store and they might have good reason. Maybe a relative died. Maybe they're going through a divorce. Maybe they lost their jobs. And so maybe my joyous demeanor might not be receptive to them right now. But that's okay. But somebody else might need to see it and or hear it. Or maybe I'll connect with somebody new. When I look at people, I'm self-aware. If there's an active shooter that comes in this store, I'm going to be fine because I am self-aware. If the shooting starts, believe me, I know where the exits are. I look without even thinking, when I'm going in my cart, there's the rear exit. Oh, that's the back room. They probably take deliveries there. Probably, if I had to, I could run out that back door and escape. And so if something bad happened, I have a plan already, but I'm not going in with fear and trepidation because I'm self-aware. But everybody I see in that store, I am going to look at as a possible friend. They're not strangers. They're just people I haven't met yet. What if you started changing how you process that information? Hey, my last wife might be in this store. I might be meeting her today. And I hope she remembers when she looks back that I came into the store with a joyous heart. And listen, if you want to feel love, if you want to feel gratitude and joy, then put that out. Put that out into the world. That's one of the reasons why people like in nursing homes and old folks' homes, I guess you could call it, assisted living, people that have pets with them, they tend to live longer because they're happy. Why? Because they're showing love to an animal, so they're feeling love all the time. And they're caretaking something. And we've already learned when our cells are happy, we get over surgeries better, we get over sicknesses better, we prevent injuries even, and our cells, when they're happy, are receptive to nutrients when we eat. If our cells are unhappy or in stress or anxiety, then we know they're full of cortisol, the hormone that causes stress, and they won't open up to nutrients, even though we're eating the right food. And that's a lot of what happens in police work. I had no control over it then. I would have bad sleeping habits, bad eating habits, and I had a lot of stress. When I worked South Central Los Angeles, unless you took action to wipe out some of that stress, which I did through working out activity, then the cortisol dump on a daily basis could be overwhelming. A lot of shootings, a lot of stress, a lot of use of force, a lot of stressful situations you would be thrown into. And so either you thrive or you don't. But hey, sometimes we need a post-patrol reset as cops. And luckily for me, I had habituated weight training and exercising over the past 50 plus years, and it served me well. And so if you already have a program, if you already have a motivation strategy, a self-motivation strategy, hey, then you're doing the right thing. And if you don't have one, then get one. because it's all about self-motivation, and it really has more to do with discipline and habits than it does with motivation. Motivation only lasts so long, and if you depend on outside motivation, you're going to be in trouble, because it's not going to show up. It's not going to be knocking at your door. It's not coming along. It's not going to go after you. You've got to get on the, if you get on the right vibration and the right frequency, then you're going to attract that. You've got to tune in to that. You know, think about all the signals that are out there in the world that are invisible. All the signals, and when you have your TV receptor, when you have your box, when you have your dish on the roof, transforming the signals that are coming through it constantly all the time, then you get to see the picture. You get to hear the sound. You get to see the images. But if your TV receptor isn't tuned in, you'll never see them. You'll never hear them. They're there. They're coming all through your house. But you got to be tuned in. And that's the same thing with people. We're all not only receivers, we are transmitters. We have a frequency, we have a vibration, and we are transmitting that. And so make sure you are always operating, when you can, on the higher frequencies of joy, happiness, gladness, and you're going to have an effect not only on your body, but how you affect other people. These are great things, everybody, and it doesn't even matter if you've heard them before. Spaced repetition over and over and over again is going to give you the habits that are going to drive you forward towards your goals. And then when we achieve our goals, when we get to that last image, and all of the great things that are dumped into our bloodstream that goes with it, all the dopamine, the oxytocin, all those hormones that we feel and lift us up on the completion, achievement of a goal. Hey, we need to celebrate that and enjoy it. And then immediately, somewhat immediately, ask yourself what's next and fix yourself on another image going forward. It's never going to end, and you never get there. That's why it's always good to be involved in your journey, because it's always happily achieving. It's not achieving to be happy. Sometimes it doesn't even matter if we achieve what we're going after, because in going after certain goals, especially if they're moonshots, we're not always going to hit the moon. Sometimes we hit a star or two halfway there, and sometimes even that's great. I was thinking about a friend of mine someone that I interviewed, and he led an expedition to Everest, and the rest of the expedition made it. Halfway up, he got sick and he had to throw up, and he couldn't make it. He only made it halfway. He was still satisfied and fulfilled with that journey. His whole goal was to get the expedition to the top, and they made it, even though he didn't make it to the top. You know what? That was a pretty great accomplishment. He was a moon shooter. We need to be moon shooters, everybody. Hey, I'm going to use that the rest of my week. Are you a moon shooter? Why don't you become one? Join me. I'm not an easy crowd. I'm always choosing hard, and I hope you do too. All right, everybody. You can respond here with me. You can send me email, cliff@cliffyates.com. Cliff Yates. I'm on YouTube. I'm on all the podcast platforms. And leave me a message on the YouTube comments. I'll be there later, and I will respond to you. Join a crowd. It's not easy. It's going to be tough, but I'm glad you're here. Hey, you know I love you. I'll see you in the next video. I got to go into the store, buy some nutrient-dense foods. I need some eggs. I need some spinach. I need a lot of things. I'm going to get them right now. All right, everybody, you are awesome. Not me, you. You're the most important person in your world.